how's everybody doing? Uh, I literally gotta say that, and again, and here's the thing, I really am trying to keep politics out of the gaming. But the thing we have in the world today is there, in my opinion at least, there is stuff that is considered politics and it isn't. Uh, I can't remember if it was the TV show Newsroom on HBO. This was a show that was on probably close to 10 years ago now. And there the main character was like a moderate might be the wrong word. He was like a sane Republican, and I think he was the one that coined. I think that show was the one that coined the term American Taliban to describe the Republicans, the Tea Party, in that. And here's the thing. Um, there is stuff out there that some people view as political. And they talked about it on the show where he goes, "Yeah, I'm a Republican, character." And he goes, "They call me a rhino or they call me a liberal." And he goes, "I only seem liberal." It was something along the lines of either facts, like reality and science had started taking on a liberal bent. And I don't know if it was him or if it was something on the internet, but somebody made the comment that they only seemed liberal because they didn't think gay marriage was causing global warming or something like, or hugging gay people wasn't causing global warming. And we've got, and this was something, and this is how far the Republican Party has really fallen. They absolutely have. This was back, I think it might have been at the end of the Bush administration, G.W. Bush, not H.W. And he was leaving office. I think it was one of those times. It was like, I think it might have been the first time you had like 20 frickin' Republicans all going for the nomination, and the and what had happened was there were a whole bunch of them. And you don't really see it that much anymore because of the fallout from it. There were a whole bunch of these Republican hopefuls that all went over to Europe so they could, because they were people who had either been governors or legislators. They really didn't have any foreign policy experience. They had never gone on a foreign junket like, Pelosi and Republicans do it too, but there's been Democrats, you'll see them go over on a fact-finding mission. Like, I think we've had both sides recently go over to Taiwan, except for when Pelosi did it, because see, she's not for, the communists like the Republican parties seem to be anymore. And I'm not making that up. I've been in online discussions in the last 10 years, and you get these people, and what they are is they're fucking Russian trolls, whether they know it or they're just useful idiots. But they'd be sitting there arguing, and then you'd let them know, well, the Republicans are selling us out to Russia, and these people will be like, well, what's so wrong with Russia? Well, the fact that you have to ask means you're not a good American. And I'm sorry, you get a little bit of that on the left today. Uh, it's not the same technically. There's nuances. I don't want to be like one of these people that are calling, a penis a vagina. There's people that'll do this. Like there was one guy. He's like, he was saying that the Ebola virus was airborne, and they had the proof of it. And it's like, well, no, you really don't. You've got a lie. You absolutely have a lie that it's airborne, but the facts don't bear it out. And this was 2015 or 2016. It was right after Trump got the nomination for the Republican Party. And what happened was, this was a lifelong Republican. He'd been a Republican for, his entire adult life. And he either was or had been the head of the state party. And he basically did a public letter where he was letting the Republicans know that he was leaving the party. And he let them know that, it wasn't because of Trump, although Trump was maybe the straw that broke the camel's back. And the thing he said was that over the last, 10, 15, 20 years, since after Reagan, he had watched this party that he has loved and loved being a part of, and he has worked so hard to get into office, basically not be in opposition to another party so much as in opposition to facts, reality, and basic math. And I might not be word for word, but I think I got it pretty close. And, he was basically, and we're seeing it now, and it's gotten worse. And this is, again, why we really need everybody to buckle up. I don't care if you're a moderate Republican. If you are still in the Republican Party, you are part of the fucking problem. If you've got a friend, a coworker, a family member, a loved one that's on dope, and you're making excuses for them, you're enabling them. Most people can see that. If you are still donating to the Republicans, if you are still going to rallies, if you are still going to be voting for them, you're enabling them. And it doesn't matter if they get a good person on there. What we really need, if we want to save our country, is we need to kick out the religious nuts. We need to kick out the phony religious people. The ones that are, like, and I worked with a guy like this. He was management. This is when GM was still in town here. He was management, and my understanding was, and again, it was all before my time, but my understanding is he had been a worker, and he was heavily on drugs. There were a lot of them like this. They were either alcoholics or they were drug addicts, and the management made a decision. This is a story my dad told me. Again, I'm repeating this story. If it's not true, then I'm not lying to you on purpose. But my dad had told me a story that there was when I got my DWI, I told this at the class I had to go to, and the teacher was a little surprised. This was down in Indiana, fucking the sister fucking capital of the right wing or whatever. I'm just sort of making that up, but I really don't know. But it's a joke. It's meant to be a joke, But what happened was there was this guy that was damn near fall down drunk, and he overturned. There were a whole bunch of management people out there watching this guy stagger around, and there was a guy that was pretty high level in management. My dad overheard him. This was his claim. I don't know, that the guy basically said, you know, we either gotta get him to quit drinking, or we're gonna have to put him in management. And there was a guy. Now this guy was a pretty cool guy, but he had been in management, and it sounds like he was one of them, you know. And this is a guy that filled in for me when I was, I think this is when my dad started getting Alzheimer's, and I had FMLA to get off for him. And the but this guy told me a story, you know, that uh, back when he was management, and then somebody I worked with told me, like, the first day he showed up to learn my job, is he showed up, he kind of looked it over, and then he just started drinking. He started putting booze in his fucking pop can, and the guy that was training said, "Well, what the fuck?" And he goes, "Look, I'm gonna be drunk when I do this fucking job." He goes, "It's not a very good job." He goes, "I might as well be drunk when I'm learning." And that was his whole fucking attitude. But he was telling a story when he was management that there was a day where when he came in, and I don't know if he was second shift or day shift. I really don't know. And he came in. And you got to understand, like, this was not like a normal job that many of you had, where if there's two shifts, you know, first shift works like, say, 6 in the morning to 4 o'clock. And then the second shift works 4 o'clock or 3:30 until, you know, whatever time they close the plant. And then you've got all that dead time in between shifts. The way GM worked was... day shift worked, and then there was like at least an hour or two gap between day shift and second shift. And you know, but that's the thing. He they you know, and then that way they could have the maintenance people go out and fix stuff if they needed to and shit like that. Well, he came in, and I think it was day shift, but I'm not 100% sure. He came in, and the other foreman, the one from the other shift, had stayed. And he was kind of sleeping on the desk when this guy came in. And the guy goes, "Oh, hey, man, you know, you didn't go home?" He goes, "No." He goes, "I didn't fucking go home." He goes, "I wanted to make sure this got done." And what he did is he opened up a drawer. And it was full of puke. Somebody had puked all in the drawer. I mean, wasn't full, but somebody had pretty much emptied their stomach into this fucking drawer in the desk. And he said, "You are gonna fucking clean this up and don't ever fucking do it again." The guy, I guess, did not enjoy being there with the smell until he could get Lysol or whatever and get it sanitized. And because here's the thing, you know, it was, and again, I'm not defending this, but they had people that cleaned, but they were all union people, and it was in their contract that, you know, it was mostly to protect them from retaliation by management. They did not clean management areas. And the reason is to prevent management from creating or allowing messes to be created. Like, I could literally see this happen. You know, in my 20 years at GM, I could literally see this happen, where if you weren't playing ball, if you weren't making management happen, they would basically use their authority and just tell people, "Yeah, you can go ahead and create a fucking mess," or they'd go in and make a mess. And then they'd call you, "Oh, you got to clean this up. You want to start doing one?" Because they did that to me when I was, after I had given up my TC job, took a cut in pay because I was, you know, just tired of, you know, the harassment I was getting. I needed to fucking get out of that position. And then there's nothing they could take away from me. And, you know, there was nothing they could do to fuck with me. I had a job. I came in. I did that job. There was no way they could really fuck with me. And then I'm like, and then I can do what I got to do. And if they don't like it, they got nothing on me, you know. And they couldn't make up shit. They couldn't fucking harass me as much. And so what happened was the job I had, it was I think SVT over on Final Line. We did a whole we were the first ones to start up the vehicle, and we did a whole bunch of shit to test it. Well, the one group leader we had, they were having issues with people being able to cover the job if the team leader wasn't there. And he goes, "Hey," he goes, "I've been told you used to be a team leader. You were trained on it. You went through all." And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "How do you feel about covering for your team leader when he's going to be gone?" I go, "That'd be fine, you know." And that's the way it was, you know. And so that's what they did. Well, then all of a sudden, and this was coming from I think the guy's name was Hawk or some kind of a fucking bird name, but he. I started finding out through the grapevine that because I wouldn't, you know, basically I wanted to follow the contract, he didn't want me covering that anymore. And I think I got him. I don't know. I basically complained about some of the shit that I knew he had done, and he was gone for a few days. Now, I don't know if they were connected or not. For all I know, he could have been on vacation, but I didn't really get any more fucking bullshit, or at least not that kind of bullshit. Because somebody basically told me, I think it was the foreman I had. He goes, "Well, yeah, you know, Andrew said you shouldn't be covering the team leader if you don't want to play ball on that." I go, "Look, we got a contract to follow." He goes, "Well," he goes, "he's my boss. That's what I got to do." I go, "Well, that's fair enough." He goes, "No problem." I go, "I don't have a problem with you." Well, as soon as I had a real issue to complain about, again, it was useless complaining there. They did not care about quality, at least on some level. And, you know, it at least went up to the shift leaders with Andrew having a fucking problem with it. But it sounds like the people that actually, like the top ones, they cared. But as soon as you got down around the group leaders, the shift leaders, and the business managers, they didn't care. Because this was over in Trim 1. And it went on for at least a couple of years. I don't know if it ever started up again, but when I was on third shift, I at least got the group leader on third shift to stop it. But I don't know if it started up. But they were basically instead of following the quality policy, instead of doing things right, they if they were run out of parts because somebody was fucking around in material, usually around break time, and you know, and those material jobs were overloaded, but I don't think that was the case here. This was just people taking either coming back late from lunch or going early to lunch or break or whatever. What they'd do is he'd come out and he'd have people put the wrong fucking parts on. You know, if they were out of passenger weather strips, they'd put driver's weather strips. They just flip them around. And if they were out of drivers, then they'd take the passenger ones and flip them around. And see, what they should have done is they should have left the line down until they got the parts out there. And then the downtime would let somebody know, hey, we got a fucking problem here. Ding, 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 ding. Get some oil on that squeak. And they would investigate it, and they'd either find out that the jobs were overloaded, which they had one foreman. I never really knew her. But she got run over by somebody in material because his jobs were so over fucking loaded. And you know that because my understanding is I don't even think they tried to fire the person that ran her over because they knew a lot of them jobs were fucked up. Because you know if the person had screwed it up, they would have at least lost their driving privileges. But I'm pretty sure they should have been fired. Like if they were drunk on the job or something, they should have been fired. And I'm not 100% sure, but it seems to me that person really didn't suffer too much. And, you know, so that's an indication that the jobs were fucked up, at least in my opinion. And so what happened was it should have shut the line down. It should have generated, you know, paperwork from the downtime. Somebody should have looked into it, and they would have figured out, oh, my God, If they'd have talked to everybody and everybody would have told them the truth, they would have figured out, yeah, this happens at least a couple times a week. Maybe not every day, but definitely not like a couple times a year. It was at least once or twice a week where they'd run out of these parts, and see, this is the thing. This would stop it. And this would stop it. They would figure out, oh, this is always happening around breaks and lunch. Somebody's fucking around. And it could be, well, it's happening around breaks and lunch because the job's overloaded and this person's taking their break. They do what they got to do to keep the line running, but when break time comes, they're not going to race their ass off. They're going to go and take their break. They're going to come back. And they're not going to be in any hurry, and then shit. They would have got to the bottom of it. But no, the group leader and then later the business manager, Harry, can't remember what his last name was. Started with an S, I think. He'd just basically go get them. I watched it. I was in the area when this shit happened, but he'd basically have them put the wrong parts on to keep that line running, and And so things just didn't get done. And you take a look at what's going on now, we got the same kind of thing. There are warning signs. Absolute warning signs. And like, this was kind of done as a meme. And I think it needs to be a clarion call to warn us. There was this historian that was on the news the other day, and he basically said that if Trump gets back into office, he's already said that as soon as he gets in, he's going to declare martial law and use the military. And like, he made the comment, he goes, this is the thing a lot of people don't understand. Martial law, that law is not, and I'm not even sure it's a law. It might be in the Constitution. It is not judicially reviewable, meaning the courts can't intervene. And the problem you have is our founding fathers, I don't think ever envisioned that we would elect a piece of shit like Trump. And we've had pretty much criminal presidents in there before. You take a look at the war crimes that happened under President W. Bush, the actual crimes that happened under Reagan and Bush, and this shit was all swept under the rug. You go back and look at Watergate, crimes swept under the rug. These are people, and there was like a historian, it might have been the same guy, Michael Beschloss, who was on MSNBC this past week, and he one of those historians basically said that, looking back at history, he had always held the view that not prosecuting and jailing Nixon was the right thing to do to heal the nation. And even he admitted, he goes, looking at Trump and some of the stuff that came before Trump, he goes, I'm pretty sure we were wrong. He goes, they should have prosecuted it, because he said it's been nothing but worse since Nixon got out of office. Just keeps getting worse and worse and worse. And here's where we're at now. And somebody did a meme, and they said, hey, did you ever wonder like, one of them was, did you ever wonder how someone like Hitler came into power? And you look at McCarthy, and it's the same thing. You see this. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. But did you ever wonder how these people came to power? And and they like, here you go. And then the other meme that was going around, and this would have been either right before or right after he got into office. And you go back and look, fucking Germany tried to warn us about this guy. They did. They just absolutely tried to warn us. They saw the warning signs, and we were too fucking stupid and lazy to listen. And, but, and then the other memes were like, hey, do you ever wonder what it felt like in Germany in 1933, 1932? They go, well, look around. It was a lot like what we're seeing now in the world, in our country. You got other countries that are doing it too. And I don't know. I'm not healthy. My time here one way or another is limited because of my health issues from when I was working at GM. I'm pretty sure I was drugged or poisoned for being a whistleblower. But the younger people out there, people that got kids that are like 10, 15, or 12, people that got newborns. We all gotta wake up. I don't care if you're a fucking Democrat. I don't care if you're a fucking liberal. I don't care if you're a conservative. I don't care if you're a progressive. Gotta wake the fuck up. And there was some girl, I think her name was Molly. Somebody posted something she had put up, I think, on Twitter. And she said, all you people that are talking about voting third party, she made some comment about you're letting the world know that your insignificant, whiny-ass bullshit is more important than the needs of marginalized people in this country. And it's like, yeah, this happened, after 8 years of Bill Clinton. 8 years of peace and prosperity. And I got to be honest with you, I was in this group. I did not vote for Al Gore. I voted for Nader, and again, I looked at his wife. I'm a liberal on certain issues. I'm more moderate or conservative. I'm kind of like a 1950s Republican. Not evil, not perfect, but conservative on some issues, more moderate on other ones. And his wife, that Tipper Gore, you guys might not realize, we got the nut jobs now that are trying to ban video games or whatever. Well, she was just fucking evil as shit on music. She wanted to, I can't remember, I think she was one that was against. She thought like if you played music backwards, you get like these hidden satanic messages in them. Not making this up. This was a thing in the 80s. But she was basically for censorship. She didn't feel good enough that, hey, if somebody doesn't like Two Live Crew, if somebody doesn't like, there's a lot of music out there I don't like. I just don't fucking listen to it. I don't really want it banned. Now, when you go back and you look at the lessons from World War II, there is speech that should be banned in this country. It really should. Not music. This music did not rise to that level. And anybody that felt so was a fucking moron. There's just no way to get around it. And, but that's what I did. I didn't vote for Al Gore because of his wife. And we got George W. Bush. And this was not a thing, oh, well, no, it's a protest. It was not a protest vote. I actually was under the delusion that Nader could win. I was wrong. I was absolutely wrong. But there's a lot of these people, and I've worked with some, I'm friends with some. When you go back to 2016, now granted, Hillary could have done a better job. She could have absolutely done a better job. Comey could have done a better job. Instead of harassing Hillary and keeping quiet about what Trump was doing, he could have basically said nothing about Hillary, and he could have warned everybody, hey, Trump's got all these connections to Russia. A vote for him's a vote for Putin. He could have absolutely done that. He didn't. Or he could have done the right thing. Either one of those, he could have done both. He could have done that. The other thing he could have done is, well, hey, if I got to come out, and he really didn't have to. He should have stayed silent until after the election, like he was supposed to. Can't remember Obama's attorney general. She could have done the right thing and told him flat out, look, you are the FBI director. You're no longer the assistant, deputy attorney general. What you are talking about doing is not your job. It's at best my job or the deputy attorney general's job. If you overstep, you will be fired for cause. She didn't have the guts to do that. There's plenty of blame to go around for everybody. But Comey should have been fired. If there were any laws he violated, he should have been prosecuted. If you watch this movie called The Comey Rule, everybody, literally everybody at the FBI that he talked to warned him exactly what was going to happen. And he still fucking did it. And then he came out, and you don't see him anymore, so the news has kind of corrected course. But you get these fucking worthless shitbags, and then even the good news, they come out and they try to rehabilitate them. You got Christopher Christie out of New Jersey. This is a guy that was involved in that Bridgegate thing. Now, like the Republicans do now, he scapegoated it and blamed it all on some woman that worked for him. So there's that. Chris Christie, then, he came out and he basically sold his soul to help Trump. Go look at that one video he did where after he started working for Trump, after he dropped out of the primary, he was blinking like it was a hostage video, and he was using his eyes to blink out Morse code, and then Trump sent him away. All the evil shit that Trump did while he was in office, Chris Christie was there helping him to get reelected. This whole thing that Chris Christie actually cares what Trump did, no, he was fine with Trump breaking the law. The only thing for Chris Christie, in my opinion, is that he didn't like Trump because he couldn't win. He was okay with the criminality. He was okay with selling us out to Russia. It's that he couldn't win elections that was the real problem. And it's the same way with most of the Republicans. And but they rehabilitate him. Look at all those people that sold their soul and worked with Trump. Like that. I can't think of her name, but they hired her. Last I knew, she was working on The View. And this is a person that was with Trump after most of the shit broke. She was one of the ones that I don't think left Trump until January 6th. Why are they hiring her for news? And again, I got to say, this is the exception that proves the rule. But you take a look at Nicole Wallace. She was like a press secretary for George W. Bush. I mean, these people fucking lied all the time. And she was given a job. Again, why? Why was she given a job? But, her and Joe Scarborough, for being Republicans, I gotta say, I really actually, I'm kind of, she's out on maternity leave. I actually miss her not being on. Now they had Velshi up until yesterday. Like the first week she was gone, or the first couple weeks she was gone. God, I can't think of her name. She's kind of a cute news person. Who's normally on the way, Alicia Menendez or something like that. She's very cute, and she's actually does a really good job on the news. Well, they had her filling in for like the first week or so. And then as soon, and again, I don't mean this in a bad way, I really don't know, but they had her covering until they made the announcement that she had finally had the kid. They were just hush-hush. And then they had Velshi. Velshi came in. It's all. It's almost like it's it's all. It's almost like they couldn't trust Velshi not to say anything, so they had to get her in. Because it's like, again, he covered, like, it was the very next day after they announced that she had the kid. He was covering it, like, okay, we don't have to keep anything secret. We can put Velshi on there, and I don't think that's true. And then I think she was back on yesterday covering it. So maybe he filled in when she had something she had to do or whatever. Because with her being on the weekend, she might have, maybe she had a doctor's appointment or whatever. And but yeah, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, oh my God, they couldn't trust a man to keep the pregnancy secret. So so they had girl power. They had to have a woman in there to keep the secret, because And again, I think it's fair enough. Us men can't be trusted with the important mysteries of the feminine mystique or whatever. But no, but she's done a really good job, and I really hope. But see, then again, um, with the Bush administration, the really big things that they really had was the fact that nobody was prosecuted for the war crimes that they committed. And I'm sorry, if Bill Clinton had to give up his law license, he got disbarred. He had to give up his law license for lying about a blowjob. Okay? And this guy basically wrote a memo, and that thing with the blowjob, it was like Martha Stewart. He could have told them the truth and he would have faced no legal penalties. Like, what he did wasn't illegal. The only thing they could technically get him on was lying about it. And, let that sink in. And, but this guy wrote a memo basically authorizing torture. And I mean, and it wasn't just one issue, but he basically wrote a memo that gave them legal. I mean, to me, it's bullshit. But he wrote a memo stating that there was legal cover for waterboarding. I'm sorry, but we executed Japanese soldiers for waterboarding. We executed them. The world did. There's no fucking bullshit. Bill Clinton had to give up his law license for lying about a blowjob. They didn't even disbar this clown for writing that memo. I think he's got a job at Fox News now, or at least I thought that's what maybe he's not there anymore, but I think he ended up with a job at Fox News after that. And I don't know. I don't know. Okay, we got... I'm gonna need... I am gonna need... Yeah, because this don't look all that bad. I am gonna need some... slabs. But and in my opinion, and I don't think there's any way you can rationally argue that guy should have been sent to The Hague for war crimes, or he should have been convicted of war crimes here. Uh, there's people out there, oh, now granted, the criminals are not calling for this, but there's people out there that would like to see, like, Netanyahu. They'd like to see Netanyahu. Oh shit, I got plenty of those. They want to see Netanyahu convicted of war crimes. They absolutely do. And okay. And it's like, I personally, I would like to see. I'd like to see. I would really like to see Putin executed for war crimes. I really would, or at least charged with them. Maybe they're not gonna. I'm not gonna be too big of a dick if they don't want to do the death penalty anymore. Fair enough. But I would really like to see Putin and the other war criminals in Russia. But I got to be honest, I'd like to see our people held accountable for that too. I really would. I'd like to see that guy that wrote the memo. I'd like to see him charged with. Because again, we're learning this with Trump. Because these people were never held accountable, it will happen again. If we actually scooped up everybody that worked for Trump that was actually involved in war crimes, and we put them in jail, I think you would see, like if they'd have done that, like if you go back to the Bush administration, and they had put the if they had done that, if they had put him on trial for that, I'm not so sure you'd have seen Bill Barr pulling his shit. I firmly believe that. I don't think he would have been as willing to pull his bullshit if that had been the case. And I really don't think he would have been. He'd have been like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I can't do that, Trump." Why? Well, but see, when and again, it's an escalation. If you would have seen, you go back to January, or you go back to the 2000 election. We are finding out now. Joy Reid covered this. She covered this. That back in 2000, if the Supreme Court had not stopped counting the votes, oh shit, I gotta go fix that. But if they would have held those people accountable, because the Supreme Court did, they stopped the counting of the vote. Now, in an election, it wasn't like Trump where they said, "Oh well, yeah, we've already had a recount. We've already had the recount. We had a computer ballot. The recounts verified it. There's just nowhere to go." That's not what happened in 2000. They had not finished a recount. And they had legitimate things. It wasn't this imaginary thing that the election was stolen. You had these things called hanging chads. And you had different courts that had different standards, and it got up to the Florida Supreme Court, and they basically argued that, yeah, this is done. This is absolutely done. We're going to set one standard. The whole state will have to go by it. They were, some areas wanted certain recounting, and they're like, no, we're going to recount the whole state with one standard. Everybody will follow it. Then the Supreme Court came in, and there was a lawyer at the time who basically said, well, let's take a look at what the court said. And he goes, the court basically said that they were not going to allow the recount because if the count, I'm not making this up, there was a lawyer, he translated it from the legalese to like English. And he said what they basically said was that they're canceling the recount because if the count shows that Bush didn't win, it would kind of disenfranchise him from the election, from the victory. That's what's supposed to happen. It would be like a race, like a NASCAR race, where if the Supreme Court came in and say, what we're going to do is we're going to ignore the actual results of the race, and we're going to go back 10 seconds or a minute before the end of the race, and we're going to take a look at that snapshot right there, and whoever's in the lead there, regardless of who actually finished in the lead, whoever the leader was a minute before the end of the race, that's who we're going to give the trophy to. And that's what they did. Well, the thing that I was not aware of, you had that Eastman guy, the one that's guilty now. He was all set to go in and argue that alternative elector scandal back then. He was all set. Like it wasn't just a one or done, you know. And the other thing was you had these protests meant to disrupt the counting, and they did. They called it the Brooks Brothers suit protest or something like that, and it was all staged. They bust these people in. Well, if they'd have put those people in jail, you might not have had, you know, but again, they were Republicans, they were white, they got away with it. And you might have had a stop to it if they'd have actually done that, because they might have said, yeah, I'm not going to jail for this because look what happened in 2000. But no, those people got away with it. And I don't know. I really don't know. Okay, we need... Ah, shit. Hands are acting up a little bit. This is why I didn't play Diablo, because I'm just not feeling it. Okay, got to go up 2 more. Two more. And yeah, but that is something I firmly believe that if they had done that back then, there's a lot of this shit under Trump, and this is why we really, really fucking need. We really, really need. We really need to see Trump and his cohorts go to jail. We absolutely, positively need that to happen. And or it'll just happen again. And that's what's being warned right now. And the history of this, and again, I don't consider this political. This is the very future of our country. Do you really want to live in a world where religious nuts can tell you? They've started doing some commercials, and I think the commercials are spot on. They started doing some of these commercials where these people are getting ready to fuck. They're getting ready to just go, all out. And what happens is they find some politician standing in their bed. And then they're like, "What are you doing there?" He goes, "Oh, I'm your Republican legislator, and I'm going to make sure that you don't do anything I don't approve of in your bedroom." And do you really want to live in that world? Do you really want to live in that world where Putin will get to decide what you say? I don't. And again, for me, it ain't that big of a deal because well, one way or another, I don't expect to live all that much longer. I I got real health issues, and I don't know when. That brings us to, I got a call to action. I'm asking you, reach out to your legislators, please. Even if you got moral objections, I'm not asking for it for you. I'm asking for it for me. But reach out to them and let's get assisted suicide legalized. Uh, with the world we live in, I don't think it's all that crazy. Let's get that done. There's people like me that are sick, and down the road, this might be me too, but we got people that are dying. We got people that are not, their health isn't any good. Uh, let's get that done for them, for me. Because I just don't have a lot of faith in this world right now. I really don't. When you look at the shit, I'm looking at what happened to me. I'm looking to other shit. I don't have a lot of faith in humanity right now, and I'm really not sure we deserve to go on. But that's a problem for a different person. But oh shit, I fucked up. I totally. Yeah, I completely fucked that up. No, let's get that done. And, because, I mean, you take a look at it. I mean, again, this is the shit that's going on. These people are out there. We got a Speaker of the House who's basically talked about how we don't, unless we change, we don't deserve to live. We've earned God's wrath. I mean, this is the shit that he's been saying. We've earned God's wrath. Do you really want to live in a world where somebody as fucking stupid as that Speaker of the House can tell you what religion you got to believe in? I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in that world at all. Do you really want to live in that world where Ron Johnson can fucking sell us out to Russia? I don't want to live in that world. I really don't want to live in that world. And that's what we're looking at right now. Whether you like it or not, that is what we are looking at right now. Hang on a sec. But that's what's going on right now, And then we had this a few years ago, and again, even if it isn't that, even if we hold Trump at bay, um, you take that Elon Musk guy. Oh, and I this is a guy I I don't know what the fuck's wrong with him, but because I was watching this thing where somebody thought he was like Edison or somebody was going to revolutionize things. More and more, it looks like he's just a fucking spoiled rich kid that only got where he was because he could buy stuff. You know, he didn't create anything. He hires people, treats them like shit until they produce for him, is what it looks like. And they're reporting now he has fucked up, and like, I don't know the whole details, but if I read it right, and I might not have. I want to be completely honest about this. I may not have read it right, but he it sounds like on the race to Mars, he SpaceX, at least I think I got this right, his space program might have been shut out of the mission to Mars. And they went with one of the other. There's one that I think involves the guy from Amazon Prime, and then there's another one that involves I think it's the guy who owns like Virgin Mobile or used to own. I can't remember his name, but I think it's one of those guys. Their company got the job. He's been basically kept out of the loop now, and I'm kind in a way I'm kind of glad, because when you look at what he did to Ukraine, what if during the mission to Mars he just calls an audible, like he did with Ukraine, where he's, oh yeah, just do this, regardless of what's supposed to happen, regardless of who's supposed to be in charge, just do this. And he likely is responsible. I mean, maybe not at the moment, because it just basically shut down drones. But if he hadn't have got involved, this war with Russia might be over. How many Ukraine deaths are on his hands because of his little childish stunt? And I don't know. I literally don't know. But yeah, there's this thing where it's this anti-Semitic shit, and really this is not the, he's if he, let's just say he is smart, and I'm not really convinced he is anymore. Like I said, I think he's like Trump. If he wouldn't have had his dad's money, and I don't know how smart his dad was, he just might have been a shrewd, aggressive person. But he had all this money, I think, from diamonds or something. Like, well, how his dad got the money? If he hadn't had all that money, because I don't think he actually created anything. He just bought stuff, other stuff that people had made great, like Tesla and the others. He bought them after they became great. I think with that rocket company, he bought that from somebody else. He didn't actually create it. And you take a look at Tesla. Tesla stocks are down because of what he's been doing with Twitter. And he was doing an interview with some guy from CNBC. They've been showing clips of it this morning. But he was being interviewed by this guy from CNBC on stage, and he sat there and he was like being asked about all the people, because there's this anti-Semitic shit up there, and I'm not sure they would have done it if it wouldn't have been for this, but there's all these companies that advertise on Twitter, and I can't remember which one it is. It might be Apple. But there's one company that said, they spend about $100 million a year on Twitter. And all these fucking right-wing nut jobs were coming up. Oh, well, I'll give Elon $1 million to keep him going. Well, if 100 of them If there and there weren't, but if there were 100 of these fuckers that wanted to do that, they would replace what Apple or whoever it was cost them for 1 year. Not even the other advert. That 100 of them are needed just to replace one advertiser. Not that wouldn't get them out of the hole. And they did. They basically suspended or canceled their advertising because he's got this anti-Semitic, this anti. If you don't know what that is, it's basically when, like, if you're a racist, you're trashing black people. If you're anti-Semitic, you're trashing Jewish people. That's the easiest way to explain. It's not exactly 100% accurate, but it gets you in the ballpark. And he was asked about that. And he looks like a fucking lunatic. Like when you see him now, there was this movie, I think it was called The Aviator or something like that. And what happened was there was this guy, real rich guy, like Elon, real rich. Although that guy may have created the money. He might not have inherited it from his dad. And he fucking went nuts. He was just a fucking lunatic. And that's the way Elon Musk is starting to look. And I think it's a lot like these stars. Like there was a thing they did on OJ after he allegedly killed his wife. He was convicted in a civil case, but not in a criminal case. I honestly think he did it, and I think the cops. I'm not even going to badmouth anybody but the cops. If those cops had not mishandled evidence, it really looks like you had cops out there that knew he was guilty, and what they did is they fudged the evidence a little bit to make sure he got convicted because he was rich. And they're the ones that basically let him off. If those cops had, because there was evidence that was basically thrown out because the cops mishandled it. And I'm sorry, that harms. It was like when I was down in Indiana, there was somebody that had done something wrong. I don't remember if it was molesting kids. And the way the law worked, they had to let him out on bail. And you had stupid people. You even had good people down there. Some of them I knew, they were damn good people. They just weren't legal experts. Neither am I, but I knew more than they did. And they're like, oh, they can't let him out. They can't do this. I go, do you want to see him in jail? And they said, yeah. Then they have to let him out. Because I go, if they don't let him out, sooner or later you're going to, even if it's a federal court, I go, you were going to get to a court that's going to basically overturn the case with prejudice, and he's going to get away with this. I go, this isn't something of who you vote for. I go, this is the way the law works. They have to let him out. They have to set reasonable conditions for bail, and they have to let him out. Now I go, if you, and this kind of, I think, pissed a few people off that I knew because they actually did this. But I go, that's the way the law works. The law has to do this, or he's going to get away with what he did. But I go, now, there's no law that says anybody has to bail him out. I go, your bail bondsman, his friends, his family, because I go, I don't think he's got the money to meet his bail. I go, if his friends and family don't put up the money, he probably doesn't have it. And if you get a bail bondsman, if they all say, yeah, this guy's a scumbag, I go, there'd be nothing the courts could do about that, but the court has to set reasonable bail, or he's going to get away with this. And then they got kind of quiet. And again, I think that's when I started having problems with some, because they did the bail bondsman thing. But yeah, this is not a thing you can blame on the judicial branch or the legislatures or the governor or the president. You can blame the bail bondsman because there's nothing that says they have to give them guys bail or bond. And it got kind of quiet there, but that's just the way it works. Well, I don't even remember what I drifted off on that for. I'm not sure there was a reason. But, okay, let's see. Yeah, we can go ahead and do this. But yeah, I really don't know. It just kind of flips me out that we are living in this world right now. We could basically watch everything go to shit. We literally, and I gotta be honest, because they keep talking, like if you follow UFOs and stuff, I'll drift into this a little bit. If you follow UFOs, there are people who firmly believe that we were some kind of agricultural experiment, that we were put here by, and then there's others that say that we're descended, kind of like if you get into Stargate, kind of like where we're like the second coming of the ancients in that show. I've also heard people say that. Well, if there is somebody out there watching over us, I gotta be honest with you. If you guys just wanted to flush us and start over, I'm not so sure that wouldn't be a good idea. You got the shit going on in here. I'm not sure we're worth saving. When you look at, I mean, because it doesn't even matter if Trump takes over or not. That would be bad. That would be the end of our democracy. And you take a look at what's going on. I kind of got off track on this. I was thinking about this earlier. I'm back on it now. But you take a look at what's going on. Even if the fucking Jesus freaks and the gun nuts, let's just say we had a magic wand and we could force all the guns to disappear. Let's just say that. We're still fucked. It ain't one issue. It's like Isaac Asimov, and I usually have this quote somewhere online connected to me. But Isaac Asimov used to talk about the cult of ignorance. And he referred to it as, the people who believe that their ignorance is as good as other people's facts or education. And if you go back to when I was a kid, if you were a fucking moron, if you were stupid, if you were unable to learn, if you were a fucking prize-winning dipshit, you didn't graduate. They'd hold you over. You did not graduate. I must have thrown these in here before I put them up. You just didn't. And I think part of the reason why they quit doing that's the way it used to be. Like, I was born in the 70s, and I graduated near the end of the 80s. And somewhere in there, they realized that some of these fucking morons, and a lot of you work with people like this, a lot of these morons would fucking kill themselves because they were fucking stupid. And so there was this thing where they did. Or, as the rise of the Karens and the Darrens out there came around, they would just pass them because they didn't want to deal with the parents. Like when I was a kid, if you fucked up and your teacher talked to your parents without a good reason, they would generally side with the teachers. And on some level, I understand that, because that was a thing that was said. Like if you go back to the child molestations by the Catholic Church, they interviewed some of those people, and they're like, well, why didn't you tell anybody? They go, man, if I'd have told my parents, Father Moynihan or whatever his name was, molested me, they'd have beat my ass. They would have assumed I was making it up, and they would have beat my ass. And, you go back in the day, teachers were usually treated like that. But now we know there were some of those teachers, there were some of those priests, they were child molesters. It wasn't good. And, like, we had a teacher, he was a really good teacher. Everybody I knew liked him. And it sounds like there was another one, but I don't think he ever got found out. But he was in the social studies department in high school, and he ended up he probably, I don't know if high school teachers have tenure, but if high school teachers in my state had tenure, he probably had it. He'd been teaching for a while. Well, they always joked about it, and he always played along. He never seemed to get upset. He never seemed paranoid or anything. But they always referred to him as Kinko. There was a not a TV show. There was a song on the Dr. Demento show called Kinko Kinko, the child molesting clown. And there were people that would joke with him about Kinko, the child molesting social studies teacher or whatever. And I think it was said to his face. I think I might be wrong, but I think it was said to his face. And he just kind of smirked and walked out. It was just not a big deal for him. That to me is not the indications of a guilty person. You know, I mean, it just isn't. But like after I had graduated, like several years after I graduated, there was someone who had come forward about what had happened. And there was somebody I knew who knew that person. She was like a couple years ahead of me. And there was somebody I knew, and they go, look, I am finding it hard to believe, because he ran cross country with that guy. He was a cross country coach, and he said, I'm finding this really hard to believe. I'm just going to use the name Kinko because I'm not sure I can remember his real name, and even if I did, I don't want it because, again, I don't know. I really don't know. But the one person I knew, they said, they go, look, I'm finding this hard to believe. But he goes, I knew her. She was, when I knew her, she was honest. She was not someone that would make shit up or whatever. Well, he ended up retiring shortly after. And again, I don't know. I can tell you firsthand, sometimes these women make shit up. They're fucking horrible people. But this wasn't like somebody at work who didn't want to work, and they were fucking making shit up about people that were holding them accountable. She had moved on. She wasn't at school anymore. I don't even think she was suing him. So this was not a person that was out for personal gain or, trying to dodge accountability for their fuck-ups. And I don't know. I literally don't know, but it is what it is. But it's like, again, when you got shit like that, maybe it's a good thing, but it led to these people not having to graduate. And some of it was the sports thing, and it's still this way today. You get these college kids, there's a lot of them, they go to school, they get a degree, they technically have a degree, but they're fucking morons. They're just absolutely fucking morons. And but as long as they could catch a ball and run fast, they never had to worry about that shit. They were gonna be passed. And there was a guy, and I really got nothing against this guy. I don't even remember what his name is. He in the gym we had, there were the names for different things, like speed for running, 10 meters or 40 meters or 100 meters, weight records for bench press, squat, that kind of thing. Well, one of his brothers or someone in his family had a whole bunch of them for the weightlifting. He came from a strong family, at least one member of it. And what happened was, we were in this class, and it was a cooking class. And the teacher had made it pretty fucking clear on day one that, Fridays were the days we did labs, and that's basically where we were cooking. And if you were gone for any reason, if you were gone for any reason, you had to make up the labs or you would be flailed for that lab. That's just the way it was. And, so like, and she made it clear, like, if we were, let's just say we were doing a lab for making pies, that's what we were making that day. You would have to get a pie made and bring a piece in for the teacher to grade you on, you know? And so one of the guys was gone because of football or wrestling. It was one of the sports. And she let him know on Monday, hey, you missed the lab, so you're going to have to do a makeup on it. And he goes, oh, well, it was sports. She goes, yeah, I understand that, but you still have to do the makeup or you're going to fail. Well, no, I was gone for a sport. And she goes, I understand that, but again, you have to do a makeup or you're going to fail. And he was just like, he just was unable to understand it. Kind of like, and again, we see it now in the Republican Party where you've got these guys, they said that, they said they want Hunter Biden to come in and testify. Well, these people that are doing this, they have broken every law that there is on this. They constantly being kept called on the mat where, hey, you had depositions with these people. You should have made those the transcripts available to us before today. Oh no, they didn't want them public. Doesn't matter what they want. These are the rules of the committee. Oh, well, there's what exceptions? There's no exceptions for this. The stuff is public knowledge. It's not classified. It's not secret. You have to turn those over. Oh no, we don't. And so that's what they did. They told this guy, hey, come in. Hunter Biden, you can come in. You can do it private. You can do it public. And he said, fine, I'll come in and do it public because I don't want you guys to be able to lie about it. I want everybody to see what's going on. Well, every time they do that, they get made a fool of because they don't have facts. Like that one guy said, I'm a part of a party that's more in opposition to facts, reality, and basic math. And they get made fun of like every fucking time they do. And okay. Yeah, we'll go ahead and I'll fix this later. But no, and they just sat there like that one guy. He was sitting there making fun of Biden, and trying to make it look criminal. But he was making fun of Biden giving his brother like $200,000 or something like that for a loan. And then, they had the check where, unlike the Republicans, the president's brother actually repaid the loan. And he was making fun of it. Well, then the one Democrat goes, well, yeah, we've actually got evidence that you gave your brother $200,000, and we've got evidence that you were paid that back. So are we going to have an invest? That guy blew up. But again, he was a lot, you listen to him, he's a lot like that guy that I was in class with where, well, I was at sports. And she's like, well, yeah, you got to bring this in. And like literally, she tried to explain it to him like about 3, 4, 5 times. And she just gave up. She goes, look, it's real simple. You either bake a pie and bring a piece in, or you're going to fail the lab. That's all I'm going to say. But she tried. She tried a lot more than I would have, to explain it to the guy. And when she walked away, he looked around at everybody. And again, she had explained this to him. He's like, so I got to make a pie? He was just all fucking stunned. And this is a guy that probably should not have been allowed to graduate. And you take a look at most of these people that are in the Republican Party, your Boeberts, your Marjorie Taylor Greenes, this Comer guy or whatever his name is, Gates. There's a whole bunch of these people. They probably should not have been allowed to graduate because they're fucking morons. And we wouldn't have them in the Supreme Court or in the Congress. Because we've got all these people, this cult of ignorance, as Asimov would say, they're just fucking morons. And the thing is, it's kind of like these people that used to go to American Idol. They went there for audition after audition after audition. They finally brought them on and were just stunned when, like, Simon Cowell ripped them to shreds. And, if, like, when I was a kid, these people were usually made aware of the fact that they were morons. They knew it. You didn't have the Dunning-Kruger effect back then, because if somebody was fucking stupid, they didn't graduate. Or they had to come in for summer school or whatever, this, that, and the other thing. And where nowadays they sail through. They usually don't have summer school anymore for these people unless it's real bad. They graduate, and some of them, they make it through college, and they come out and they don't know a fucking thing. They're useless for what they got a degree in. And that's why they get so violent. That's why they get so angry. That's why we have these fucking morons in Congress. Because they recognize it. They're like, oh God, people are calling him stupid, but my God, he's got a college degree. He graduated high school. Yeah. Oh, she owns a fucking restaurant. She jerks people off at Beetlejuice. She can go there and be my congressperson. And if these people had been held back, if these people had to deal with it, I'm not sure you would have that. I really don't think you would. And on the news today, they were talking about this on Morning Joe, where Donald Trump is wrong on all these, and they're calling them 80-20 issues. And they're going, yeah, Trump is wrong on all these. He's on the wrong side of abortion. He's on the wrong side of the gun issue. Wrong side of Obamacare. He's coming out now saying he wants to wipe out Obamacare when he gets in there. He had 4 years to do that. The next thing is he's going to be. I think he might have already done. The next thing he'll do, if he hasn't done it, he's going to start telling everybody Mexico's going to pay for that wall he built. He's going to basically start up with these lies again. Well, here's the thing, and I kind of reached out on Twitter to him. I go, look, guys, because they were saying, oh my God, he's on the wrong side of all these issues. He's never going to win an election talking like this. And I'm like, I tagged in, Morning Joe, I tagged in MSNBC, I tagged in Democrats and Republicans, or not Republicans, but I tagged in Democrats from the House and the Senate, tagged in POTUS. He's on Threads now. We are moving along. And for all the people that are on Threads, it sounds like next week or the week after, they are going to open up Threads in Europe, in the EU. So there's going to be a flood of even more people on there. But but I kind of pointed out to him, I go, look, you guys are talking about how he can't win an election, how the GOP can't win an election. I go, have you guys not been paying attention? They don't care. There is nothing about this Republican Party that cares, that says they're worried about winning or losing in an election. I go, what's going to happen is all they have to do, and they know this, all they have to do is rile up the, you know, ignorant gun nuts and religious nuts and get them to show up after the election and overthrow our government. That's all they have to do. That is absolutely all they have to do. I go, you guys really need to wake up because, and then they had this judge. Now, you look at this January, and again, this is something we have to take a serious warning to because you go back to when they first started prosecuting the January 6th people. The cult of ignorance in the Republican Party, they were just like, oh man, these can't vote you, and you've got people in office that are basically calling them political prisoners or this, that, and something else. And it's a little scary that they're just totally in denial about this. Yeah, we're gonna have to take one of these other ones. And I might be conflating the two stories, but there were two judges, and I might be blending the two stories, but everything I'm about to tell you happened. I just can't remember if it was one judge or who did it, or Well, anyways, one judge, and I think I got it right, but I might be conflating the story a little bit. But at least one judge, they looked at the case the DOJ was bringing. And they looked over, I mean, they didn't look over the charges, they looked over the evidence that, the prosecutors were telling them they were going to bring to the case. And the judge goes, look, I've looked over all the evidence. He goes, are you sure this is all you want to charge him with? And they're like, oh yeah. And then there was another judge that kind of lambasted the prosecutors who worked for DOJ. And they said, look, we've got a problem in this country where one party tried to overthrow the government. And he said, like, half the country doesn't think it's a big deal. And he said, it's no wonder they don't think it's a big deal because you guys don't seem to think it's a big deal. You guys should be bringing charges worse than this. But he said, you're bringing these charges where it's just like a couple years here. You're letting people go, well, this was some of the judges, but they were letting people go on vacation and all this other shit. And he said, maybe these people would take things a little more serious if you guys did. And that's basically what the judge said. And he goes, it's just unbelievable. And I want to put this into perspective. And this goes to what John Edwards used to call the two Americas in this country. And well, he said if you guys were taking it more seriously, maybe the American people would. But these were rare. You take a look at what's going on. You go back and look at, there were two judges, and I think both of them were black judges, One of them I think was called Sullivan, and I cannot remember what the other guy's name was, but both of them stood up to Trump. One of them at a certain point basically replaced the prosecutor, because there were two prosecutors that were gung-ho. They had gotten a conviction. Mike Flynn, in that case, had pleaded guilty twice in court, and he was at sentencing. You know, they're just all done. And like at a certain point, they wanted to do the sentencing, get it all over with. And the judge basically said that he goes, if I don't think you want me to sentence you right now. Because he said, right now I'm looking at a plea deal, which I do not have to accept. He goes, I can throw it out. He said, he goes, I'm looking at you, and he goes, when you come back here for sentencing, you better have shown me something, because he basically said, you committed treason from high office. He goes, you were in office as the national security advisor, and you committed treason. Now, he walked that back a little bit. But the fact that a judge said that in open court for the record, that's like a huge fucking deal. And then, but again, if you had a judge like the one that covered for Epstein down in Florida, this is a guy that Trump hired after the fact. But this is a guy, when he was a federal prosecutor, he swooped in when Florida was going to put Epstein in jail years ago, years before he did end up in jail. He went in, he broke the law, because they had a law in Florida that you cannot make a plea deal to somebody until you run it by the victims or the victims' families. He broke that law. I think they thought it was one of those laws that didn't need any enforcement mechanism, because, well, prosecutors are officers of the court and they'll follow the law. Well, not if you're a Republican, they don't. Go back and look at me talking about the torture memo. If you're a Republican, you break the law and you usually get away with it, and that's what happened here. And but if they'd had a lawyer, if they'd had a prosecutor like that guy, if and you got that Judge Cannon down in Florida, and you've got a couple other judges around the country that like there was one of them. This one involved that judge that stood up to him on Flynn. At a certain point, the defense lawyer for Flynn, and I believe it was that Kraken lady, can't remember what her name was, but we'll just call her U.S. Attorney Karen. But she basically told the judge that you've got to dismiss the case because there's nobody prosecuting it. Well, he ended up hiring a retired judge, a former prosecutor, one that I think he was on the Gotti case. Those are good credentials. He hired that lawyer to fill in, retired judge, former prosecutor, had him fill in for the corrupt bar lawyers that were on the case. And when it got to the appeals case, one of the appellate judges asked the government lawyers, if you can call them that, the ones that worked for Barr, and they go, well, what is your concern with, because they said, look, the judge hasn't ruled, the judge just wants to investigate, what's going on. What is your fear of the judge just having hearings to find out what's going on? And they go, well, we fear an intrusion by the judicial branch into the executive branch that is neither lawful nor, or something along those lines. And the one appeals court judge goes, okay, hang on a sec. Do you want to go out on the porch? Give me a second. Now, if I get, okay, see, this is what, I waste my time getting up to come over and let you in, then you want to come sit with me, come sit with me. But that's not very nice of you to try and make me get up to let you out on the porch, and then as soon as I do, you walk away from the door like you don't want to go out there. Yeah, that's not very. Hey, this is my cat. I do love her. She is a good cat, but cats are not dogs. A dog would never do that to you. If they go to the door and they want outside or they want out on the porch, they would be waiting for you. Their tail would be wagging. She's been doing this shit for a while now. Sometimes she does actually go out, but she's been doing this game a lot where she wait, and I love it when she waits until I actually get up. And I wouldn't like that even if my foot was completely healthy, but it's not, and it's just not fun. Oh, hang on, what time is it? Oh, it's 10 o'clock. I'm just gonna basically cancel the stream. I might do another stream later. Let me finish up here quick. But they asked him, well, okay, if a judge, and it was a little bit relevant to the case. If a judge saw the defendant come in and put a sack full of money on the prosecutor's table, and immediately after the prosecutor confirmed that he had a sack of money in front of him, he then asked the judge to dismiss the case. Are you saying that that the judge should not be allowed to investigate that? And they said, yes, Your Honor. And the judge blew up because then you're basically saying the judge has to be a party to corruption going on in front of his very eyes in court. And so they ended up, but what happened was when it originally went to appeals court, it was like a 3-judge panel. 2 of them were Trump judges. Trump appointed them. And the third one, I don't know if he was an Obama or a Clinton era judge, but I think it was like 2 Republicans and 1 Democrat. Well, both Trump judges ruled that the judge should not be allowed to investigate. He should just dismiss it. And the one prosecutor, Glenn Kirshner, he looked at it and he said, he goes, if I know this judge, he is going to appeal this to the full en banc court. So it'll be the whole appeals court that'll hear it. And he goes, and I have a feeling, because there's 11 members on that court, he goes, I have a feeling that you are going to see a 9-2 decision that's going to look a lot like the minority judge here. He goes, I don't think you're going to find one more judge on that appeals court that's going to side with Trump. And it did. It went back down to the judge, and then when he started moving on it, then Trump gave the guy a pardon. And there was another thing in that case where the Kraken lady was fucking up. My understanding is, I'm not getting up. No, you were over there, and as soon as I started getting up, you walked away from the door. I'm not getting up for you anymore today. You're going to have to wait till lunchtime. Yeah, I'm not doing this game where you keep going over there and assing around by the door, and then as soon as I get up, you walk away and want to sit on my lap. But no, oh, it's almost 10 o'clock. It's a long story. There's something going on, but don't know what it is yet. I suspect, but I don't know. But no, if we had judges like that, where would we be now? You know, if Mike Flynn had gotten an Epstein judge, if other people, if these these January 6th terrorists that attacked our Capitol, if they got Epstein judges, where would we be now? You look at Trump. If Trump did not have Cannon, if he had an honest, competent judge, that trial might already be going on down there in Florida. It definitely wouldn't be looking like it's going to be pushed off past the next election. If we had an honest and competent attorney general, there's a lot of these people that are running free, that are in office, they would likely be in jail now. And if not, they'd definitely be in line for indictments. They'd be indicted. They would be awaiting a trial. We just found out this week that the special attorney uh, got stuff from Pence. Pence basically let him know that, as early as Christmas Eve, he was planning on not going to oversee the stuff on January 6th. He was going to let somebody else do it. And and again, I don't know his politics. I don't know, but on this one thing, I think we should all thank Mike Pence's kid. I don't know what his name is, but if I caught the story right and I'm remembering it right, and I'm not even asking you to trust me. You can feel free to verify it. But his one kid uh, was meeting with him for vacation in Colorado. My balls itch. I'm sorry. And when he found out what his dad was going to do, he told his daddy, like, look, like me and you took an oath to the Constitution. He said we took the same oath, which I don't believe is true. But he's like, in a nutshell, he basically, Dad, we both took an oath to support and defend the Constitution. And he goes, this is wrong. You got to go there. You can't do this. So his son got him to do it, it sounds like. So for that, thank you to Mike Pence's son. Sincerely, that was huge. Well, when that came out that he knew he was planning on not going as early as Christmas Eve, the day before January 6th, Chuck Grassley, senator from Ohio, he told a local reporter that if Mike Pence didn't show up tomorrow, the 6th, and we don't expect him to, I will be presiding over it in his place, and I won't be saying anything. He basically, and again, I don't know if that meant he was just going to let the fucking corruption go, or if he was not going to be a part of it. I don't know what that means, but this is where I get at, where we have an incompetent attorney general, because there is so much from January 6th that should have already been investigated. And if he had done his job, if like the day he got into office or the day after he got into office, if he would have found Jack Smith or somebody just like him and said, hey, you're going to have an unlimited budget and an army of prosecutors and investigators like Bill Clinton had over his blowjobs and his dick, most of those people would already be in jail. I have no doubt about that. Absolutely none. But instead, he did nothing. He let the Secret Service, he let the Department of Homeland Security, he let them delete evidence off their phones. He did. There's just no way to get around it. This is what he did. And if he had done his job, that wouldn't have been the case. You look at most of these shitbags that are in office right now. Your Jim Jordan. All of these congressmen that were asking Trump for a pardon after January 6th. They'd likely be in jail right now. But again, because of this attitude in Washington that laws don't apply to rich white Republicans. They don't. The other thing we had, I was talking a little bit about this, I got mentally derailed on it, but you had people, white people, Republicans, they stormed the Capitol. They built a gallows. They were chanting, hang Mike Pence. They pissed on the building. They shit and pissed in the building. They broke into offices. They stole shit. And I'm not talking like a post-it note or something. They stole podiums. They stole computers. They stole mail. Fucking A. It used to be stealing someone's mail was a federal crime. That was protected by federal law around the post office. And when they prosecuted these people, most of them got like either probation or a suspended sentence. And again, it was well under 5 years for a lot of them. And then some of the ones, and this again, those judges were saying, like, you sure this is all you want to charge him with? Some of those people should have got like 20 or 30 years, even with the plea deal. Unless they were really, maybe one or two of them would get away with it because they were turning over the bigger fish. But you had people out there. Now they weren't rich white Republicans; they were black. As far as I know, they were all black. Maybe they were all minorities. But I think the two that I'm thinking of is I think they were black. Now one of them I think was a man, and what happened was he was a felon, so he couldn't vote. But he was getting to the point where he's going to get his right to vote back. He just didn't know if, according to what they said, he didn't know if it was going to happen before or after this last election in 2020. And he really wanted to not vote for Trump. He wanted to get Trump out of there because he knew what a toxic, treasonous piece of shit he was, in my opinion. And what happened was he told him, because he got there and they go, well, you're not registered to vote. And he told him the truth. He was honest about it. He goes, well, I'm supposed to be getting my right to vote back. I just don't know if it's happened or not yet. He goes, if I can't vote, that's okay. Well, what he was told was, hey, we'll just do a challenge ballot. Fill out a challenge ballot. We'll put it through. And what they'll do is they'll simply investigate it. And if you can't vote, no big deal. They'll throw your ballot. And if you can vote, it'll be counted. He's like, that's great. Great to be an American. He's like, hey, that's great. Well, then they put him away, I think, for 5 years. They charged him. He didn't storm the Capitol. He didn't shit or piss on anybody's building. He wasn't running around yelling, hang Donald Trump or hang Mike Pence or any of this bullshit. He just peaceably voted, and he was completely fine that if he didn't have the right, throw it out. There was another woman, I believe that this one I'm positive, the other one I'm not sure. I think it was a man, but this one here was a woman. She was in the same boat. Well, she didn't just show up to vote like he did. She was proactive. She should really run for office. I don't know what southern shithole she's in, but she should really run for office. And she reached out to those in charge, I think in the Secretary of State's office or a local office, and she told them what was going on. She goes, I don't know if I'm allowed to vote or not, but she goes, I would really like to vote if I'm allowed. Well, they looked into it for her. And they go, oh yeah, you can vote. No big deal. And she goes, can I get something in writing? Because she goes, I just don't want to get caught in a snafu or whatever it was. But she just wanted some proof that she had a right to vote. They actually got it. I think the law enforcement was involved and the election people were involved. She got a piece of paper stating everything. It was signed. And then they tried to put her away for 5 years. And she's like, well, look, you can't. I asked. I was given this as I can. They go, oh, well, you lied and she didn't do any such thing. But yet these people that literally attacked the Capitol, these traitors, these terrorists, they got less time. Now the woman might have got things cleared up, but they wanted to put her away for about 5 years. And then when you look at the real election fraud that happened in 2020, you had people on the Republican side that they voted for dead relatives. They tried to vote more than once, or they did vote more than once. Some of them were registered to vote in multiple locations, same person. A lot of these people weren't even brought up on charges, or it was probation. It was 6 months, or community service or whatever. And it's like, I mean, right there, you can see there is some racial divide. And you got some people that just had an accident, and then you got people that violently tried to overthrow our government, and you had rich white people that were trying to steal an election. And they were given less of a sentence than black people that just made a mistake or were trying to do the right thing. And we got some issues in this country. We really, I mean, it's just wrong. I don't know what to say, but it's just wrong. And the thing on the news today just really flipped me out. Where they're like, oh well, they're not going to win an election. They don't give a fuck. You take a look at my state here in Wisconsin. They've got control of at least one legislature, and I think they might have control of both, but they got at least control of one legislature, and the other one's almost 50-50. And if they, and this was something Rachel Maddow talked about years ago, when you look at the elections, Democrats usually win like by more than 1 million votes statewide. But yet when they win by like 1 million or two statewide, they get about a 50-50 split. Sometimes the Republicans even still control the legislature. And if you get it to where they break about even, like in the election cycles where Democrats get about as many votes statewide as the Republicans do, well, then the Republicans end up with like 2/3 of the legislature. And if we get the gerrymandering that the Republicans are doing fixed, you are definitely going to see, you might even see Democrat actually turn into a blue state. It'll be purple and blue instead of purple and dark purple. It'll affect things here in the state. But this is the shit that's going on. And it's like, what part of the Republican Party ever since Reagan, what part of the Republican Party makes you think they actually give a shit if they're going to win an election or not? They just don't. Right now, they don't care if they win. They just want to gin up fucking people on the left and get them to support the terrorists in Hamas and the Arab world and shit on fucking Israel, so they'll hopefully stay home or vote third party. And all they care about is ginning up their gun nuts, their religious nuts, their fucking, your false religious people, just so they'll show up with guns and steal the fucking election. They know they're not going to win. They're not planning on winning. And this is going to be one of the biggest things. And if that doesn't work, we're going to die in 5 or 10 years anyways from global warming because of the Republicans. It was a few years ago, you had a guy that came to Congress for his job, and they were talking about climate change. Dumb fuck comes in with a fucking snowball. He's like, yeah, it's a snowball. I guess this global warming's wrong. No, global warming's right. It's just called winter, dumb fuck. The scientists have a name for that. It's called winter. But I don't know what to tell you. I really don't. But it's this cult of ignorance. I watched something on, and this is why I'm going to wrap it up with this, but it was on Vice. They were down there talking about, it was a town that was flooding, and they showed it. There were, city or building after building that water was up touching the building. People had basements flooded. They showed you how much of the city had been flooded. And they were trying to talk to the leaders, and it was a Republican area. Down south somewhere, Dumbfuckistan. And they were down there, and they were talking to the leaders of the city about climate. Oh, we don't need that crap. It's just flooding. It's just flooding. It's not global. And when they got done talking to Dumbfuck, Mayor, they were kind of whispering, but it was the people that were there with the filming crew. And they said, it's definitely global warming, but they go, how can you fix it when people are this stupid? It's like, it's here. This isn't, it isn't like me. I'm in Wisconsin. We've got, normal weather, more or less. We don't have flooding here. There's parts of it, but, they sometimes got it before, but we don't have that here. If these guys are there, it was a fishing village or a fishing area. They are flooding. And they're still too fucking stupid to understand that you are voting for the people that's going to end the world. It's just going to end the world. And you've got other people, some of these people, they're on food stamps or they're on assistance from the government. They're on Obamacare, they're on Medicare, they're on Medicaid, they're on Social Security. And they are going to, some of them, and enough of them. If everybody would get their head out of their ass and like, oh my God, if you are on food stamps, if you're on any type of government assistance, if you are on welfare, Section 8, if you are on Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, if you vote for Republicans, you're a fucking idiot, and you're dooming this planet. It's just, it just blows me away. And this is the shit, if we are here, if we're like archaeological or agriculture experiment, like, my God, it's failed. It's really failed. Just start over. Fucking flush the toilet and start over. I don't know if you want to start over with us. Maybe go back to dinosaurs again. I don't know. Get Chaka and the fucking slee stacks back and shit. I don't know. But this shit, I'm not sure we deserve to live because we keep allowing these fucking stupid people to run amok with us. And it seems to be getting worse, not better, because, my God, President Biden should have fired Garland by now. He should have basically told somebody, you put a special prosecutor on Congress. You get to the bottom of everybody that was in Congress fucking around leading up to January 6th. He should have a special prosecutor, either the same one or a different one. He should have a special prosecutor looking into the FBI and the DOJ. They should be investigating, I don't care if they're still there or not, they should be investigating everybody that was involved with Bill Barr and Donald Trump to obstruct justice. They should be looking at everybody in the FBI that basically was doing the work of Trump and Barr, obstructing justice, covering up crime. Because you had all these people that investigated Kavanaugh. And instead of turning what they found over to Congress, like, yeah, this guy's a piece of shit, he should not be a Supreme Court judge, they fucking buried it and handed it off to the White House and made it disappear. That should be lying to Congress. Any of those people in the FBI that have a law degree should be losing their bar license. Any of them should be basically at least be, and again, I think the timelines are the statute of limitations is gone, but they should have all, like on day one, they should have been investigating January 6th at all levels, including in the White House, including in Congress. On day two, they should have been investigating the DOJ and FBI. And we still, and again, don't even get me started. That fucking DeJoy guy has not been removed from the Postal Service. I mean, we don't, as a society, our world, as humans, we don't deserve to keep going. Whoever, if there is something out there that placed us here as some kind of an experiment, this experiment's failed. Fucking start over. Flush everybody. My health is gone. I don't care. Seriously, flush everybody. Start over. The decent people that exist, and they do exist, they're beautiful, they're wonderful, we're losing. We've lost. It's time to put the white flag up and just get it over with. Peace out, and I hope everybody has a great day. If I can, I'll be on later. Otherwise, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care.